Can you tell me just a little about how you got into this business in the first place?
Because I have 2 children, a son and a daughter, and I couldn't buy the kind of children's clothes I wanted to in Cambridge. And I started out just as as a lot of women do, doing a little thing, but when you have a shop and it's open 6 days a week, you can't play at it. And when money starts getting tied up, and it's just taken off.
Why did you first think about getting a microcomputer?
To make my office work easier, so that I have more time to spend in the shop and not fiddling around with my papers.
And how much time did you have to spend fiddling with the papers?
Too much, and never enough.
You mean
it was always running to catch up on badly run office. I sell children's clothes from birth to 14 years for boys and girls. Everything from underpants, socks, to overcoats and belts and accessories. Vast range of sizes, mainly imported. Only a couple of English manufacturers.
And how many suppliers do you have?
Over the year, between 40 and 50.
And what's your turnover?
This year it's going to reach about 100,000.
And how many staff do you employ?
Now got 2 full-timers and 2 part-time.
Did you know anything about micros beforehand?
Nothing at all. And I tried asking in local shops and they just blinded me with science. I'm a mere housewife. And in the end spoke to a friend of mine who was in microcomputers and said, please help me. I think I need one. I'm sure I need one, but I don't know what I need.
And how did he clarify what you needed?
He sat down and wrote down everything I wanted it to do, and then told me what it couldn't do.
And then he went away and...
He wrote me a program in the end.
And did he also bring you both the program and the hardware?
Yes, because we wanted to make sure we didn't buy something that would be too small. I was aware, I had heard people spending lots of money on systems that were, you know, they grew out of within a couple of months, and I didn't want to waste my money.
Yeah.
It's used mainly as a stock control, analysis of my sales, and my accounts, which was a second program I bought. I now have got a purchase ledger.
Okay. Why was it important to have an analysis of your sales?
Because it covers such a wide range of sizes, boys and girls, and I am new to the business. I started it from nothing, and it's grown very quickly. I wanted as much information as I could, other than just visually, of what sells and doesn't, to help me.
So the software enables you to look at a report of some kind about
Yes.
sales and to pick out what kinds of things,
Yeah.
for example.
As manufacturers, how quickly they're selling. I can do breakdowns of colour preferences and garments, which, although by just being in the shop and looking around the rails you can see, it's the things like underwear and socks.
Does it help you in making, say, buying decisions?
Yes, because I have a limited budget. I have to make sure that it goes in the, I spend it in the best way.
Can you describe in a little detail how the system works, the stock control system, I mean, from the time a garment comes in, say? What happens?
That's the most time-consuming thing, is when we have the stock arrive, it is entered. Each item's given a separate identity. Its size, what it is, its sex. But once it's entered, it's then ticketed, and it therefore it's got an identity and can be followed.
And it goes down for sale?
Yes.
And what happens then?
The tickets are removed at point of sale and kept, and they are manually taken off at the moment. And then that will give me any analysis from then on.
So does that mean that the computer system can be run separately, as it were, from the selling operations?
Yes.
So the people on the sales floor?
They don't need to, all they have to do is remember to take the tickets off.
Are you satisfied with the system you got?
After using it, I can think of some refinements which we're still having done to it and changing it slightly. As one part of it has too much information which I don't need to use now. When we enter the stock, it has everything put down: the colour, size, which is important, sex, and the manufacturer. And I now don't need such a full analysis of what's going, particularly colours.
But initially, did you find out anything about colour, for example, that was interesting?
Yes, that for the English market I must buy twice as much blue as any other colour, and not very much yellow.
But having learned that, you don't need that information?
I don't need to keep being told it now.
You also said that after you had the package delivered and running, that you were able to identify the need for minor changes. What sort of minor changes did you mean?
Well, one of the simplest things that we found out that went wrong was that when it did print out the stock, it was still printing out the stock that was sold as well as what was still available, and it meant we had stock lists like telephone books. And now we only get it printing out, if we want to, just what is still available.
Okay. And are there other minor changes that you're working on?
Yes, it's just totalling up the cost of it. We can ask for that option now. So we can do a existing stock in hand just by asking the computer.
Do you have ideas about future development of the system? Are there other things you'd like to do?
Yes, we've recently purchased a purchase ledger, and we want to get the sales ledger now tied up into it, where it will give a bank balance. Very important.
So you're actually working
Cash
towards
flow.
cash flow analysis and
Yes.
also, in the end, presumably integrated accounts.
Yes.
In running your business, have you come across ideas, or have you had ideas that you've held back from implementing in the business simply because you thought the microsystem couldn't cope with the changes?
No, because I just go ahead and do what I want to, because it's only keeping my records.
So you can always assume that it will catch up.
Yes, it will. Yeah.
When you say that you can assume, or you tend to assume that the system will be able to catch up, is that because you have access to someone with programming expertise?
It does help. But even if I didn't, I wouldn't let it stop me doing what I wanted to. Even if it didn't, even if it wasn't doing what I wanted to at the time, when I've got the time, I can get hold of something that will make it do what I want to.
If you had to go back and choose a system again, would you do anything differently?
Not really, because I wouldn't know. I still wouldn't know. I still don't know the technical things. I know what I want them to do.
And is there any advice you'd give someone in the retail trade who was contemplating buying a micro system?
Well, I think there is a place for it. And as things get more and more competitive, you have to make sure your capital is tied up in the right stock. And as much help as you can get to help you decide on that.
Did it make a difference, for example, that you happened to have a friend who was in the computer business?
Well, yes, because I trusted him. And I had faith in him.